Hi, it's Sue. Thanks for joining me for today's Bible reading of Proverbs 13 through 15. I'm reading from the World English Bible, verse 1. A wise son listens to his father's instruction, but a scoffer doesn't listen to rebuke. By the fruit of his lips, a man enjoys good things, but the unfaithful crave violence. He who guards his mouth guards his soul. One who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. The soul of the sluggard desires and has nothing, but the desire of the diligent shall be fully satisfied. A righteous man hates lies, but a wicked man brings shame and disgrace. Righteousness guards the way of integrity, but wickedness overthrows the sinner. There are some who pretend to be rich yet have nothing. There are some who pretend to be poor yet have great wealth. The ransom of a man's life is his riches, but the poor hear no threats. The light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked is snuffed out. Pride only breeds quarrels, but wisdom is with people who take advice. Wealth gained dishonestly dwindles away, but he who gathers by hand makes it grow. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when longing is fulfilled, it's a tree of life. Whoever despises instruction will pay for it, but he who respects a command will be rewarded. The teaching of the wise is a spring of life, to turn from the snares of death. Good understanding wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful is hard. Every prudent man acts from knowledge, but a fool exposes folly. A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a trustworthy envoy gains healing. Poverty and shame come to him who refuses discipline, but he who heeds correction shall be honored. Longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but fools detest turning from evil. One who walks with wise men grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. Misfortune pursues sinners, but prosperity rewards the righteous. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. An abundance of food is in the poor people's fields, but injustice sweeps it away. Boy, there are some great nuggets in here, some warnings about the words of our mouth and who we hang around and just some other good principles. But this last one was actually one of my memory verses from years ago. I'm sure it was King James, and it said, in that version, it says, much increase is in the fallow ground of the poor, but it is swept away by injustice. I just like to compare side by side some of the verses. So here, this one says, an abundance of food is in poor people's fields, but injustice sweeps it away. Isn't that the truth? 24. One who spares the rod hates his son, but one who loves him is careful to discipline him. The righteous one eats to the satisfying of his soul, but the belly of the wicked goes hungry. Proverb 14. Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish one tears it down with her own hands. He who walks in uprightness fears Yahweh, but he who is perverse in his ways despises him. The fool's talk brings a rod to his back, but the lips of the wise protect them. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. Excuse me, we've already passed by so many of my memory verses from years ago when I did a whole lot more memorization than I do now. But this one really helped me when I was a young mom and had a bunch of toddlers and a small business and was homeschooling and volunteering. Let me read it again. It says, where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increased is by the strength of the ox. In other words, if you want to have a perfectly clean crib or house, don't have any oxen in it. But what good is that, right? If you want to have the ox and the production of what comes with the ox, or the family, then you're not going to have your perfect crib. I love that. Verse 5. A truthful witness will not lie, but a false witness pours out lies. A scoffer seeks wisdom and doesn't find it, but knowledge comes easily to a discerning person. Stay away from a foolish man, for you won't find knowledge on his lips. The wisdom of the prudent is to think about his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools mock at making atonement for sins, but among the upright there is goodwill. The heart knows its own bitterness and joy. He will not share these with a stranger. The house of the wicked will be overthrown, but the tent of the upright will flourish. There is a way which seems right to a man, but the end thereof is death. This actually says, but in the end it leads to death. Even in laughter, the heart may be sorrowful, and mirth may end in heaviness. The unfaithful will be repaid for his own ways, like a good man will be rewarded for his ways. A simple man believes everything, but the prudent man carefully considers his ways. A wise man fears and shuns evil, but the fool is hot-headed and reckless. He who is quick to become angry will commit folly, and a crafty man is hated. I like these ones about anger because, it's just easy to mess up if we react. This is teaching us to not be hasty, to think and try to act and not react. Boy, we all need that lesson. He who is quick to become angry will commit folly, and a crafty man is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil will bow down before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor person is shunned even by his own neighbor, but the rich person has many friends. He who despises his neighbor sins, but he who has pity on the poor is blessed. They don't go astray who plot evil, but love and faithfulness belong to those who plan good. In all hard work there is profit, but the talk of the lips leads only to poverty. I'm guilty of that sometimes. I talk about ideas and then don't follow through. Doesn't do any good if you don't follow through. So I want to read that again. In all hard work there is profit, but the talk of lips leads only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the folly of fools crowns them with folly. Truthful witness saves souls, but a false witness is deceitful. In the fear of Yahweh is a secure fortress, and he will be a refuge for his children. The fear of Yahweh is a fountain of life, turning people from the snares of death. In the multitude of people is the king's glory, but in the lack of people is the destruction of a prince. He who is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a quick temper displays folly. The life of the body is a heart of peace, but envy rots the bones. He who oppresses the poor shows contempt for his maker, but he who is kind to the needy honors him. The wicked is brought down in his calamity, but in death the righteous has a refuge. Wisdom rests in the heart of one who has understanding, and is even made known in the inward part of fools. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a disgrace to any people. The king's favor is toward a servant who deals wisely, but his wrath is toward one who causes shame. Proverb 15. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise commends knowledge, but the mouth of fools gush out folly. Yahweh's eyes are everywhere, keeping watch on the evil and the good. Isn't that amazing? I was watching some underwater video footage and all the big whales and sharks and sea creatures, and just thinking, God, you watch this beauty all day long. He sees everything all at once. Amazing. He sees that. He sees the top of the mountains. He sees our hearts and thoughts. He sees it all. But think about the vast intelligence of that type of knowledge. Anyway, verse 3, it says, Yahweh's eyes are everywhere, keeping watch on the evil and the good. A gentle tongue is a tree of life, but deceit in it crushes the spirit. A fool despises his father's correction, but he who heeds reproof shows prudence. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but the income of the wicked brings trouble. The lip of the wise spread knowledge, not so with the heart of fools. The sacrifice made by the wicked is an abomination to Yahweh, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination to Yahweh, but he loves him who follows righteousness. There is stern discipline for one who forsakes the way. Whoever hates reproof shall die. Sheol and Abaddon are before Yahweh. That's the place of the dead, Sheol. Sheol and Abaddon are before Yahweh. How much more then the hearts of the children of men? A scoffer doesn't love to be reproved. He will not go to the wise. A glad heart makes a cheerful face, but an aching heart breaks the spirit. The heart of one who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feed on folly. All the days of the afflicted are wretched, but one who has a cheerful heart enjoys a continual feast. Better is little with the fear of Yahweh than great treasure with trouble. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fattened calf with hatred. A wrathful man stirs up contention, but one who is slow to anger appeases strife. The way of the sluggard is like a thorn patch, but the path of the upright is a highway. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to one who is void of wisdom, but a man of understanding keeps his way straight. Where there is no counsel, plans fail, but in a multitude of counselors they are established. Joy comes to a man with the reply of his mouth. How good is a word at the right time. The path of life leads upward for the wise, to keep him from going downward to Sheol. Yahweh will uproot the house of the proud, but he will keep the widow's borders intact. Let me write that down. Yahweh detests the thoughts of the wicked, but the thoughts of the pure are pleasing. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes will live. The heart of the righteous weighs answers, but the mouth of the wicked gushes out evil. Yahweh is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart. Good news gives health to the bones. The ear that listens to reproof lives, and will be at home among the wise. He who refuses correction despises his own soul, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding. The fear of Yahweh teaches wisdom. Before honor is humility. That's it for today's reading. Thanks for joining me. Shalom, shalom.